Welcome to Main Street Mavericks Radio, bringing you insights and strategies of exceptional Main Street businesses serving friends and neighbors in their communities as educators and advocates for their customers. Here's your host, marketing and lead generation strategist and best-selling author, Donna Gunter.
Welcome to another episode of Main Street Mavericks Radio. I'm your host, Donna Gunter. This episode is sponsored by BizSmart Media, a digital marketing agency that helps business owners attract ideal clients on autopilot as the standout expert in their industry. Today we have with us Tessa Stowe, the Happiness Pathfinder. Tessa Stowe is the founder of Saying Yes to Happiness and helps those who are ready to move forward and be happy after a significant event has sucked the happiness out of them. Tessa does this by teaching quick, easy, fun, and effective happiness practices that you can fit into your day. Tessa is not a counselor, a therapist, or a psychologist in happiness. Instead, her happiness expertise comes from two main areas: real life and extracting the gems from mountains of information and research by happiness scientists and scholars. Welcome to the show, Tessa.
Oh, thank you, Donna. It's great to be here. And if I sound a little croaky, I don't know why. I've got a bit of a cold coming on, unfortunately.
Well, we can hopefully be able to talk through that.
Thank you.
Well, Tessa, I always like to start out with asking my guests how they got to where they are today doing what they do. So how did you become the Happiness Pathfinder? What led you down this road?
Gosh, Donna, it was quite a journey. I suppose, really, I now want to see a world where we know how to be happy, and we are most of the time, no matter what significant events have happened in our lives. And I don't want people to miss out because they don't know how to be happy anymore or they're following the wrong formula. Because for many years, I was following the wrong formula for happiness, and I was doing all those things you're supposed to do. You know, I ended up being busy, stressed out, unhappy, and it almost cost me everything. And in November 2012, the most important person in my life, my husband Mike, was told he had brain cancer. And
wow.
Yeah. From that moment, living life became urgent, and from that moment, ironically, we really started squeezing so much fun and happiness out of life and out of right now because that's all we had. And then the nows ran out in November 2013 when my Mike died. So coming out of the worst of my grief, when I decided I wanted to be happy again, and it took a while, I realized I just didn't know how to be happy anymore. And most of the things I was led to believe would make me happy didn't. And so then I basically, Donna, went in search of, what really makes people happy, what would make me happy. And then very importantly, how can I get myself to do those things? Because, when you've been through something like that, your energy's low, your motivation's low. So I basically just kind of went in search, and I gathered a lot of answers, and I've now sort of really become, I'm now on a mission really to share it, and because there's lots of people out there who have been through significant events in their life and coming out of it like I did, and they want the answers. So that's part, why I'm this happiness pathfinder, sifting through the mountains and then to come back and share it. But I'm also on a mission to give happiness to others in African villages. So to that end, for each month someone is a member of my Yes to Happiness gym, they give one person in an African village access to water. So, and the reason that I'm on a mission to give happiness in this way is my Mike. Because my Mike, when he was in the army, for the cause, destroyed many water wells in African villages. And he carried the guilt with him, and his dream was to rebuild them. But Mike died with that dream because he was essentially ashamed to share what he'd done and why he was wanting to do that. So I'm now basically building the Yes to Happiness gym to give life to his dream.
Oh, that's really inspiring. I want to back up a little bit here and talk about a definition of happiness. You know, in the case of the charity work that you're doing, you know, for African villagers, probably happiness for them is access to clean water that they can use every day in their lives. For other people, happiness may be the ability to play with a pet or having grandchildren. What do you see as the definition of happiness, or what is happiness? How do people define that generally?
Yes, well, it's different for different people. That's part of it, but that's another topic altogether. But yes, it's a fabulous question. And, you know, I see, like, to me, and I have thought about this a lot, obviously, you know, happiness is a combination of feeling good in the moment and a feeling that your life is meaningful and worth living. You know, that's huge. So to me, it's really both. You need both. And, but it's also, you know, as I've discovered, it is the most wonderful natural remedy. It's you know, happiness, you know, it's a word like, what's the word? Like an elixir of life, you know.
Right.
You know, happiness reduces stress, it increases your immunity, it's good for the heart, it reduces aches and pains, and I could go on and on. Oh, but a fabulous one is, you know, happiness increases your life expectancy. You know, I think it makes you look younger too. People keep telling me, you know, I look younger if I'm doing this work. And the other thing is, you know, happiness is super contagious. Is that a word? Super contagious? I made it up. So, you know, if you become happy yourself, then you can't help but infect others. And I just think I think it's fabulous. I think it'd be fabulous to be infected with happiness and go around infecting everybody else. Oh, it's a summary. Like, it's a combination of feeling good and having meaning in your life. It's a fantastic, you know, wonderful natural remedy, and it's super contagious. So yes, that's what happiness is.
So with all those wonderful attributes of happiness that you listed off, you know, it being an elixir to life, almost like finding the secret of youth, should you aim to be happy all the time? Is that a realistic thing?
Heck no.
Now, this is going to be an interesting answer.
Yes, absolutely not. You know, we're not actually meant to be happy all the time. However, I do believe that we're supposed to be happy most of the time. Okay, I believe that happiness is our natural default way of being. So let me explain. Okay, Donna, just suppose a saber-toothed tiger is chasing you. Okay, have you got that?
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a life-threatening situation, don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's definitely not the time to stop and smell the roses.
No, I don't think I could stop and do that.
So it's a time to run for your life. I mean, forget happiness. You know, right now you're in survival mode. So, but the thing is to know when those saber-toothed tigers are just real or just our imagination. And the thing is, you know, like when people have a significant event, to me that is the equivalent of being chased by that saber-toothed tiger. and you're completely stressed out. You're maxed out on the stress scale, and you're in survival mode, for a period of time, because significant events, and I never really realized this really until my husband died, but significant events are, potentially life-threatening, and you actually need to survive them first. And when the time is right, then you can get back to being happy. So does that answer your question? The answer is basically heck no. However, we're supposed to be happy most of the time.
Yes, that does answer my question. Let's talk a little bit more about this whole notion of significant events I know I mentioned in the introduction that you help people after significant events have sucked the happiness out of them. Talk about some of the kinds of significant events that can really impact somebody's ability to be happy.
Unfortunately, we all have them. So a significant event could be any number of things. For example, it could be, the loss of a loved one, family member, friend. It could be divorce, separation, illness, like my husband's cancer, loss of job. It could be a financial crisis, a natural disaster. So all of those, or it could be, Donna, something is, I say simple. That's not quite the right word, but because it's significant. But it could be just waking up one morning and asking yourself, is this it? Surely there must be more to life. What signpost did I miss? As I'm not as happy as I thought I'd be by now. And many people start asking this when they experience what was called a midlife crisis. I certainly did. And the other thing is, a significant event could actually just be observing friends and family having a significant event of their own. If you're around or you observe your best friend or your family member, like for example me with my husband and the brain cancer, that was a significant event for him, but it was a really significant event for me too. So you can either have it directly or indirectly by observing somebody else having it. So, I've had quite a number of significant events in my own life, job loss, financial ones, death of, family members and friends. I've had midlife crisis. I've had that. But the most significant by far, which really knocked me off my perch totally, was the loss of my husband. But so you could really say that, Donna, you could say I am an experienced significant eventer. Yes. So the thing is, though, that when you're in the process of dealing with a significant event, the last thing you think about is happiness. Because remember, you're basically, you're trying to survive it, which I mentioned before. And it's really interesting because, it's, even though you don't expect it at the time, there does actually come a time when you are ready to be happy again. And then you're ready, and then this big question sort of comes up. How can I be happy? What am I supposed to do? What works? Because, what you thought was supposed to work doesn't anymore. You just see everything. You see everything like with new eyes, because in a way you're a new person as well. So that exactly I'm actually describing. I'm describing me because that was me after I started to rise out of the terrible grief I was in, and I went in search of the answers. I was inspired to really go searching for those answers. Little did I know where it would lead me, like to this interview with you, Donna.
Right. Well, Tessa, I know that society sometimes wants to put a damper on your happiness, and for that, I'm just thinking about societal norms as they have evolved through the years. For example, in your case, when you lose a spouse, and what the amount of time society says you should grieve for that spouse, and traditionally it's been like a year or two, and God forbid you perk up or show happiness. I mean, at one point, back in the 1800s, you were expected to wear black for that extended period of time and be very somber and all of that. And I think ultimately, eventually, coming out of those really somber types of expectations, but when you're dealt with a significant event and you feel like you're at the place to move on, but your friends don't support that, or maybe society doesn't support that. How do you function? How do you deal with that in your own head?
Because you're ready to be happy again, and yet your friends don't support you.
Right. Your friends, going back to say, a death of a spouse, if you've done your grieving and you've recovered, say, in 45 days, and they think, oh no, you shouldn't be happy. You should still be grieving. That's going to take 6 months or a year. You're defying society's expectations of you or friends' expectations of you, but you're ready to move forward.
Oh, right.
I know that's a tough thing to deal with.
Oh, yes. And, gosh, I could go into a whole big, story about this. One of the things, if you're in these situations, getting through these situations at the time that it takes you, and everybody's got their own time, if anybody is not helpful in your process, then you need to get away from them. You need to limit your time with them and do grieving in your own way. And that is a huge one. I have a little sign when you come into my apartment, Donna, there's a little sign that says good vibes only. I'm just very careful about who I surround myself with, which is actually really part of the formula for being happy as well, is who you surround yourself with. And just, it's interesting, Donna, you mentioned wearing black and everything. The most bizarre thing happened. Well, the moment my husband was sick, was in hospital and was supposed to be dying when he had a seizure, there's a whole story there, but I just went out immediately and bought a whole lot of really bright, outlandish clothes. So every time I visited him in hospital, I was wearing these really bright clothes. And I actually kind of refused to wear black. He died, and the funeral I was wearing something bright. So I was completely non-traditional because black, what do you associate black with, It's not a happy colour. So.
No, not at all.
So my thing is, I would simply say grieving is very personal, and don't let anybody tell you how you should grieve, because you're in survival mode, and the quickest way you're going to get yourself back to happy is just to be with that grief. And the time will come. It will come, but it just, when you say, yeah, I'm ready to be happy again, but it will come when it comes. It could be, depending on what the significant event is. Well, there's no one size fits all, and just be true and honour yourself and the process, and just try and be around people who support you in that. That's huge, huge.
Oh yeah, it most certainly is. It's I think a key to survival for a lot of people to be around a very supportive group of friends or family or colleagues or what have you, and not try to do this all by yourself.
Oh gosh, no. Well,
Tessa, I know that sometimes I hear about people who've been through some terrible trauma or illness. On the other end of that, they'll say that they've never been happier. What do you think that is?
Yes. I know. It's sort of so like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I think, that they have the lolly shop feeling afterwards. Do you call that in the US lolly shop?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Well, because I'm in Australia, we call it lolly shop. So you go, it's like a sweet shop where you buy sweets.
Oh, a candy store.
Candy? A candy store.
Okay.
Okay. See? Right, a candy store.
I thought that might be what you were talking about, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, so they have the candy store feeling. So, let me explain. So, it just goes, what, trauma, candy store? What's that got to do with anything? Well, my husband Mike had a massive seizure. So, and he was put on life support, and I was told to prepare for his death. Mike, my husband, was never one to do the expected. So when they took him off life support, he woke up and he smiled and he said, "Hello, darling, I'm back." I'll never forget the morning, though, after my Mike was released from hospital, we walked across the road to the beach, which we'd done many times before, but this time it was totally, totally different. Mike was so excited about everything that he was seeing and experiencing and hearing. He was excited. He was excited about the sky and the clouds and the sand and the ocean and the trees and the birds and the it was just like amazing, and he was like a kid in the candy shop of life, and he infected me with his excitement. It was incredible. So when you survived a significant event, it's like he'd come back, so to speak. You develop a deep sense of gratitude and excitement for the things that you previously took for granted and probably didn't even notice. And everything just suddenly seemed brand new and exciting. So it's just like being in a candy store.
Right. Yeah, the U.S. expression or the American expression for that is "kid in a candy shop." So we know it.
All right,
we all know exactly what you mean.
Great. I'm going to change my terminology now. Kid in a candy
shop. Well, it depends on the audience you're speaking to. Even though we both speak English, it's amazing how different it is from one country to another.
Yes.
Well, Tessa, some people would wonder. They look at some people and they seem to just be born grumps and just be perpetually in a bad mood, and other people seem to be perpetually happy. Is happiness in our genes, do you think? Or is it a skill that we learn, or some combination thereof?
Yes, so that's a interesting, great question, because scientists have been talking for years about the 50-40-10. 50-40-10. So, they've been saying 50% of your happiness is in your genes, 40% is based on your daily choices, and 10%, only 10%, on your stuff, your environment and income. So there's a lot that's under your control. Now, what I think is that they're saying 50% is in your genes, but that 50, what's interesting is that 50% is being revised down as there's more and more evidence that we can influence and change our genes. Yeah, which is amazing. So we are not victims of our genes. We can actually influence them. So all in all, that puts a bigger percentage onto happiness which is affected by your daily choices, really. So the majority of what is really determining your happiness is you and your daily choices and your daily practices and things like that. And you can change all of that. But if you can change it all, if you A, want to, and make a decision about it, and B, though, know how to, because you may want to, but if you don't know how to, it's kind of difficult, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's a book out there called "Happiness is a Choice," and so it sounds like you definitely subscribe to that train of thought.
It is, and it totally is a choice. Donna, I totally agree with that, and it's good to know it's a choice. It's great to know it, and I really do believe that. But then there's that leap from, okay, I know it's a choice, but how do I be happy? It's like, right, okay, where to from here then? And that's where I was at when I was sort of made that decision. I made the choice, yeah, okay. But then what? Now what? And that's what started me on my journey of looking for the answer to that. And I can assure you, it wasn't straightforward. It's not straightforward.
Well, Tessa, you've mentioned a couple of times earlier in the interview about your happiness gym. So I am assuming that's where people would come to learn your techniques for being happy. Can you talk a little bit about your happiness gym?
Oh, absolutely. So basically, the gym, first of all, it's a fun and happy place. Has to be, obviously, doesn't it?
Obviously.
Yes. So it basically, it takes you along a path through various stages. So at the beginning, I call that stage one, surprisingly enough, stage one, you are asking that question, like you've made, as you were saying, you've made a choice. You've made the decision that you are now ready to move forward and be happy. So at that stage, you're asking the question, well, how can I be happy? That's stage one. And then stage two is you're happy in the moment. Stage three, you are happy in yourself. And stage four, you're happy in relationships. And then at stage five, that's when you know how to be happy, you know what to do. Actually, you know how to be happy, and you know this is really important, Donna. You know what to do when you fall off the wagon. Is that a good term? When because life is still going to come along and knock you off your perch. So, you need to know what to do to get yourself back up quicker. So at stage five, you know how to be happy, you know what to do when you fall off the perch, and you can say, yes, I'm happy. So at each stage, there's basically a selection of recipes, and we can talk about those a bit later if you like. But basically, there's a selection of recipes to choose from, which are designed to get you to the next stage. So, for example, there are recipes designed to get you being happy in the moment. And there's a whole variety of recipes, and they're carefully, scientifically crafted. And you basically choose what recipes work for you, and then you go out and you apply those recipes in your life. We do a little bit of tweaking. But that basically is a very high-level view of the Yes to Happiness gym.
So in your recipes, are you giving people step-by-step instructions they take it? I mean, obviously there's no teaspoon of sugar and cup of flour and that kind of thing.
No, the recipes are really, really, really easy. What I like to do is step back a little bit and how I came across these, because there's so much information out there, Donna, on happiness. When I went in search of the answer, we're just not lacking information. So, for example, just before the call here, I Googled, how to be happy, and I got over 3 billion, billion
wow.
results. But yes, I know. And some days I've had over 4 billion with a B, results on how to be happy, which is totally mind-blowing. And that's Google, the fountain of all knowledge. And
right.
And there's also thousands of books on the subject of happiness. So we're definitely not lacking, information on happiness. We have lots of it. But, the thing is that although we have all this information, and by the way, in the happiness gym, we just don't do an information dump on you, yuck, because we have all this information, but how do we know what really works? Because there is actually, surprisingly enough, a lot of misinformation around happiness. And an obvious one, is stuff. Buy the stuff and you'll be happy.
Right.
Buy a bigger version of the stuff and you'll be even happier. And interestingly, I never came across a single piece of evidence that says stuff, really makes you happy. It gives you a little blip, in happiness, but that's it. But you can get a much bigger happiness bang for your buck by spending your money elsewhere. So from the research I've done, and, I mostly kind of went to scholars, scientists and scholars who are focused and have made their life mission to study happiness. From really doing that research and sifting through those materials, just came down to a core set of overall areas that are proven to increase your happiness, such as, being grateful, being kind, having relationships, being positive, being compassionate, being present. And then within each of those, there are lots and lots of specific things you can do. For example, there's lots and lots of things you can do to be kind. So that's the bigger picture, is to work out what really, really works. But then you've got this core list. And then the next thing is, Donna, how do you know it's going to work for you? Because we're all different. Even if a practice is known to increase happiness, it may not work for you. It may not be your cup of tea or cup of coffee, I suppose, as you say in America.
Right. Well, no, actually, we use pepper tea as well.
Oh, you do? You do? Oh, okay. This is cool. So let's take, meditation, for example. There's all sorts of evidence of the benefits of meditation and that it definitely increases your happiness. Now, personally, I love meditation. My friend Anne Louise hates meditation. So it doesn't work for her. So basically, you need to sift down to, yes, this will makes you happy, but does this make me happy? So it's like a sifting process. So when you've got it down to what works, then you need to further refine it, as I said, to what works for you. And this is the biggie, and this is the missing piece, because, okay, you know what works for you. However, how do you actually get yourself to do those things? Because especially when you're busy, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, you're lacking energy, probably low on motivation, all those things will probably, or some of them will apply to you if you're, coming out of a significant event. So we all know all these things, we ought to be doing, we all know they work, but we simply don't do them. So, like, for example, I remember my husband telling me way back when I was in corporate he'd say, Tessa, stop and smell the roses. And I knew intellectually that what he was saying was right, and I ought to be doing it, and I also knew that worked. But Donna, when he said that to me, it really irritated me.
Right.
Couldn't he see how busy I was? I mean, really, I would get around to it, but not now. So this is the whole thing. We know what to do, but we just can't get ourselves to do these. And I came across the answer to this quite by accident. When I was coming out of the fog after my husband died, I met a guy called BJ Fogg. So coming out of the fog meets fog. Anyway, BJ.
Wow.
I know. I knew it was a sign. So BJ is the world's leading behavior scientist and has a proven method for getting yourself to do things. And it's super cool. It's called the Tiny Habits Recipe. And I got so excited about it, and I've actually become a certified Tiny Habits coach. You can use BJ's Tiny Habit Recipe to create habits or get yourself to do anything in any area of your life. But I've used it to create happiness recipes. And that's what we do. What's in the gym is all these really cool happiness recipes. They're quick, they're easy, they're fun, they're effective, and they can fit into your day no matter how busy, stressed, or overwhelmed you are. And so these recipes are really what I'm excited about, because they're the missing piece. These are how to get yourself to do the things that really work to make you happy. And I'll give you an example. Examples are always good, aren't they? So, okay, being present is known scientifically, without any doubt, to increase happiness. So there's lots of evidence. So, we all kind of know that. Everybody says, be present, stop and smell the roses. I mean, we all know that. If there's one thing you can do to be present, I'm just going to give you a little exercise. And I suggest that you, Donna, you do this along with me. And if anybody is listening to this while driving, please don't do it. So yes, don't do it. Just do it later. It's got 3 steps. So step 1 is, okay, Donna, you put your hand on your heart.
Right.
And step 2 is put your center of attention on your heart. And step 3 is breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly for a couple of breaths. Okay, so just give you a few seconds to do that.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm finding I'm really centering myself. I never tried that before.
It's cool, isn't it? But that's a specific practice. Yeah, and it's quick. It's easy, and it's actually really effective. So the thing is, it's a really cool thing to do, but then how do you get yourself to just do it? You know, because you're out there living life busy. So, and this is the secret or the magic, is you get yourself to do it by doing it with something you're already doing in your day. So, for example, I've got a lift in my building, which I go up and down a few times in. I suppose I should use the stairs, but no, I use the lift, right? So I've tied doing this to getting into the lift. So getting in the lift prompts me to do this. So I have a recipe, a Tiny Habits recipe, which is effectively after I get in the lift, I will put my hand on my heart, put the center of attention on my heart, and will breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly. So then depending on how many times I go in the lift, you know, every day is how many times I do it. But it's tied to something that I already do. And so it's quick, it's easy, it's fast, it's effective, and as I said, you can fit it into what I'm already doing. So, and then I add a fun component, and it's really important, that's part of the Tiny Habits recipe secret magic sauce, is I add fun to this. So I hope they don't have cameras in the lift. I don't think they do. But I add fun to it by high-fiving myself in the lift. There's mirrors in the lift. I high-five myself in the lift afterwards. I mean, obviously providing no one else is in the lift.
Right.
And so there I am, a high-fiver in the lift. It's cool. But adding that fun element to it, which is really quick, you know, is proven to speed up the habit formation. So, yeah, so the recipes are quick. As I said, they're quick, easy to fit into your life. They're very effective. They're fun. Actually, I'll give you another example. And I love this example. In fact, I just this week gave this one to my group to do. It was hilarious, some of the feedback. But this one is after. Remember, you tie it into something you're already doing. So hence right. The word after. Okay, so after you pick up your fork to eat, so you picked up your fork, you put it in the other hand. Okay. So are you left-handed or right-handed? Donna, are you left-handed?
I'm right-handed, so I'd switch it to my left.
That's it. So as soon as you pick your fork up, you put it in the other hand. So that will jolt you right into the present moment if you want to eat the food that's right in front of you. You'll really have to concentrate. That will, because you go, it's a bit of a brain hack for getting you straight into the present moment. And you'll probably end up laughing as well and being totally present to what you're eating.
You may have to change your clothes if you continue down that path. It can still be food all over.
Precisely. And one of the people in my group was making such a mess, she ended up putting all her food in a bowl. She'll never forget that experience. But the thing is, this is quick again. You know, it's easy to change hands. This is effective, and you're fitting it into what you're already into what you're already doing. So in the gym, you know, we've got different types of recipes for in the moment, happy in self, happy in relationships, and then you just kind of, you know, mix and match and choose what works for you and when you can put it in your day, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And fun is really important to have this work, but it's super effective. I mean, DJ Fogg's methodology and Tiny Habits recipes just you know, totally mind blowing.
Well, it sounds like it. Tessa, this has been a really fascinating call. How do people find out more about you and your happiness gym and your other services and programs that you offer?
Thank you, Donna. Yes, well, I suggest as a first step, they download the How to Reclaim Happiness Roadmap. And the roadmap, if I do say so myself, has 5 very profound steps in it. And the first step is a question, and I only suggest that you go to step 2 if you can answer yes to that first question. It's a very, very important first question. And you can download that roadmap by going to www.sayingyestohappiness, so sayingyes-to-happiness.com/MSM. So that's sayingyes-to-happiness.com/SM. Oh, MSM. Sorry. MSM.
Right.
And in that roadmap too, there is a link to my Facebook group, which would be the next best step. That's where we just recently did the fork exercise, which was hilarious. So yes, I then recommend clicking on that link, joining the Facebook group, and because as we talked about at the beginning as well, who you hang out with is vitally important if you're committed to being happy.
Well, it sounds like you have a bunch of happy, fun-filled folks in your Facebook group, so it sounds like something that people would definitely want to be a part of if they're on this journey to find more happiness for themselves. Well, Tessa, thanks for being our guest today on Main Street Mavericks Radio. I appreciate all of you listening to today's show. Take care, and we'll see you soon on our next episode.
You've been listening to Main Street Mavericks Radio with Donna Gunter. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit mainstreetmavericks.com.